The future of sales is right upon us, and it's not necessarily only about managing people, it's about managing tech. And my guest today, Derrick Williams, is going to lay out why he feels this is so important and critical for you in your role. Check it out. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another great episode of the Sales Evangelist podcast. My name is Donald C. Kelly, the Sales Evangelist, and I'm so excited for another great episode. I'm so excited to be here with you today. And on this episode, yes, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be talking to my friend Derrick. And Derrick and I connected on Instagram, and dude was like just dropping tons of value, just awesome individual. And then all of a sudden he dropped this tweet, and it turns out it was right in alignment with this topic that we're focusing on around this concept of the future of sales and what are some of the things that we need to be aware of. I won't take too much away from him. We're going to talk about that in a second. But if this is your first time listening to our podcast or watching one of our videos, please go ahead and hit subscribe, because here's what's going to happen. We will notify you every time we have a new episode, and as well as the platforms that you're listening to this podcast on. So I appreciate that, and I ask that you do that. Again, go ahead and hit subscribe. If you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and hit subscribe and hit that chime, and we'll notify you every time we have a new episode. I'm not sure if that's how chime goes. It goes ding. The point is, it's going to be good stuff that we'll tell you about. Without further ado, let's go dive into the episode.
Or some sort of tuning mechanism where you have different variations, or think about a recipe, right? Think about, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and you come with a great dish. And the tweet was, managing sales is going to be just as much about managing technology as it is about managing people. And where I was going with that is that there's a massive concentration on the people management side of sales leadership, right? Working with individual contributors to get the most out of them and help them be as impactful and effective as possible. But I think where we're headed and where we are actually right now is in a place where, as a sales leader, it's really important that there's a technical aptitude that you have in your skill set so that you can help your team be effective, right? It's not enough just to provide coaching and feedback. It's not enough just to do one-on-ones. If you truly want to enable your team to be successful, you got to do some blocking and tackling within the tech stack as well. And we know, sales ops or revenue operations is typically your go-to, squad for that. And rightfully so. But in smaller organizations specifically, you may not have those resources, or those resources may be consumed by other departments or late stage sales teams. And so if you think about an SDR team and an SDR manager, being able to really optimize the use of tools like Gong and conversational intelligence, being able to really get into the weeds on the sales engagement platform and maximize that functionality with sequence building and turning that up quickly for your team, and even looking at data insights. I mean, I think that's the big one that's being missed right now, is that we have Zoom Info and these other players, but are we really maximizing these platforms effectively? And I think that's where we can really help the front line the most, is if we can remove friction in their process and make them more effective through technology, then we're in the right place. And the beauty I like about conversational intelligence is it takes away it neutralizes the feedback, I should say. It takes away the bias. It takes away the subjectiveness of feedback that, if you're giving me coaching, Donald, and, I've done 50 calls and you've just listened to all 50 of them, which would be all really hard to do, right? Machine learning can do that for you and spit out a report. But my point is, if you did that and you listened to it and you gave me feedback, what you heard and what I hear might be different. And so I'm not here to sell Gong necessarily. What I want to emphasize is that there's an opportunity, with the help of folks like myself, to bring this tech closer together and get a smoother workflow for the SDR holistically. Yeah.
And you see, the way I see people like you, I think it's like if I were to go to, Planet Krypton, and I need a guide to help me to make sense of what to do and how to make things happen, it's kind of like that. And I think in some way, like for many of us, these are two different worlds coming together. Right. Can you really you can go out and do it yourself by all means, but why not have a guide, somebody who is speaking what do they speak on Krypton? Like, I don't know, who can speak that language and can then, point out to you, these are some things, this is how you make these programs.
And then, it's the same old thing where, you had BYOD, or bring your own tech back in the day. But now you still the same thing. Chrome extensions that SDRs or reps are using that the team, the sales ops for leadership doesn't know about, and so you have this disjointed workflow where everybody is doing it differently, and then you wonder why you have subpar results. So it's the technology's there. I mean, obviously, I don't want to overemphasize on the fact that it's going to do our jobs for us or replaces anybody. It just allows us all to do our jobs more effectively if we learn the technology, spend that time, and master it. And if you can't spend that time and make that investment, then leverage a third party. Implementation consultants exist in every industry, right? And so sales is not an exception. While salespeople tend to lean towards knowing a lot, and we like to be proudful of being able to solve their problems, I think there's two mindsets. It's either you do it yourself and bring it all in house and we figure this out together, or you broaden that up and you leverage third-party references like myself or even other experts in the community to help you bring all this together. One of the big things that I see that's missing from a coaching standpoint is we do a really good job of coaching on conversations and how to navigate those. We do a good job of coaching on how to fill the funnel, the art and the science of activity and sequence building and just all the things that take social touches. How do you fill the funnel, and then how do you navigate conversations? I think you see a lot of that in the community, LinkedIn and everywhere else talking about that. But the piece that for me I think is missing outside of that tech that we've already talked about is mindset coaching and really helping reps sharpen their mindset.
And I'm sitting here, or even better yet, I'm a sales leader, and I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about this, and I'm evaluating. I'm driving to work, and I'm like, crap, Derrick just brought us some good stuff here. What softwares do I really have? I don't know how to get started. I don't know where to go. I don't know how to start managing my tech, to figure out if I have the most productive or effective ways. Short of calling you and having you come out and help them, what's the first thing that they should do that you can help them as they get off this episode today?
Yeah, I think the first thing is just put your process to paper, right? Use whatever diagram tools you have. Keep it simple. Right? What do your reps have to go through? Look at the step by step, the play by play of what SDRs have to go through, and then look at how the technology is. What screens, what software they're going to, what SaaS tool they're going to as they move through. And you'll see just real quick when you sit down with a handful of your reps, the sequence that each person is going through when they want to pursue accounts. And then from there, you can start seeing what's working and what's not. So just a standard assessment. If I was in that seat, if I was a newly appointed sales leader or revenue operations leader, the first thing I would do is do those interviews, do that assessment, and try and get a sense of what's working and what's not, and allow people to be honest about that process. I think that's important. So that's the first thing, is just take a honest look at the way your people work today. Don't make any assumptions about, because I think that's what happens from a top-down perspective. We simplify. Let's just make some calls, just send some emails. Just the data's right there. Just go grab it. And then when you put all that together with activity metrics and deliverables and the speed at which we operate, you can see quickly that if you actually sit in the seat, even side saddle with your SDRs, you'll see real quick where that friction lies. And then focus on where you're going to get the most impact with the littlest amount of effort, right? I think that's the prioritization of where to focus, because you might come away with a list when you do that assessment. You can't fix everything at once. So whatever has the most impact and easiest or fastest in terms of impact, I'd work those quadrants out and then identify those 2 or 3 priorities. And then you may need to make an investment. You may need to bring in a third party. You may need just to roll up the sleeves and put some work in. But I promise that if you optimize those workflows, leveraging these technologies effectively, and coach the person, you can't do anything but go up.
Folks want to get in touch with you, to learn from you, to be friends with you. Where did it go about doing so?
Well, where we met first, I'm on Instagram. That's like my go-to. So Derrick is 3Link Sales. That's DERRICK is 3Link Sales. Go to my website, 3linksales.com. I'm also on LinkedIn.
Listen, That was Derrick Williams, and if you want to learn about him and his company and some of the great things that he's doing, go ahead and find him on Instagram. You can find the information in the show notes, as well as connect with him on LinkedIn. Follow him on Twitter too. He's doing a lot of great stuff there, and he's an expert, I would say, when it comes towards technology and helping you to be able to really scale your team in using tech. Highly recommend you connect with him. Great individual and just good peoples. As always, I share stuff like this. I tell you about our sponsors, people who are bringing value to our community, because I want to help you. I want you to thrive. I want you to succeed. I want you to be able to know what to do. I want you to be able to take advantage of the tools that they're offering. I want you to be able to close big deals. I want you to raise your level of thinking and go out and do big things. Hey, thanks so much for taking the time to watch this video today. If you enjoyed the content, I ask you to go ahead and hit that like button, that thumbs up at the bottom right-hand corner. Also, to make sure to subscribe if you haven't done so already. This way, we'll keep you up to date with all the latest sales strategies, latest tools, and things that are going to help you to not only find more prospects, but to close more deals. Thanks so much.